Okay, looks like we're actually logged in here. But I don't know. Whilst I'm just waiting. Last time I was in Laos, I tried this Laos beer. It's not too bad, actually, this particular flavoured beer. And yeah, I don't mind it, actually. It's Beer Lao white beer that I'm actually drinking right now. But yeah, somewhat tasty, actually. I got the car in the workshop at the moment, so I can't go anywhere. They were supposed to fix it within a week. We just had some insurance stuff we wanted repaired on the car, but yeah, they just kept delaying. They're going, it's going to be ready tomorrow. It's going to be ready tomorrow, but they keep making excuses. And yesterday we got called 3 times by Toyota here in Chiang Mai. And the 3 times they said, yep, it's going to be ready at this time. Come pick it up. Come pick it up. They verified 3 times. And at the last minute said, sorry, sir, you can't actually pick up your car today. And we said, why? And they went, oh, because we put an urgency on repairing a car of the same make and model of yours, but we mixed up the bloody number plates. So they went and repaired another car that hadn't been there that long and left us there. So it's going into the 3rd week now of them having a car just to fix a really simple thing, an insurance thing where someone had smashed into the back of our car. Not a hard job at all. It was fairly minor damage that they just had to repair. But yeah, outside of that, like I did do the going back to the survey thing. If I go back into YouTube elsewhere, and I hope people can hear me here. That's what I'm sort of hoping for. But when I was going into the survey side of things, people were expressing an interest in a variety of things that they actually wanted to actually know about. And so if I go into it, the community. So I did do a little quiz on what people wanted me to talk about. I think it was like 55% of people were saying, just have a live random chat about stuff. About 18% were curious about living in Thailand, or 9% moving. So I guess you could say moving and living here, one and the same. And about 18% were curious about dating in Thailand. So I was actually having quite a curious chat with Anne last night on some of these sort of topics too. And dating in Thailand, yeah, that's an interesting one on that particular topic alone. But even if you were to look at something like dating in Thailand, then it is a bit hit and miss, because you do have your typical dating sites like your, what is it, Thai Friendly, Thai Cupid. You've also got things like Tinder. There's a few others as well that are actually out there. But what Anne pointed out to me, she goes, there's a lot of scammers on those dating sites, both Westerners like expats, as well as actually Thai girls and guys on there actually scamming people. And she actually said to us, even in the dating thing, there's a lot of people there that may have an actual partner in Thailand or a partner elsewhere, and they're just trying to rake in extra money. So she said you've got to be very careful when you're actually dating online with the Thai girls, I guess, in general, Thai guys, whichever is your preference in this particular country. So she said that most of them are just trying to get extra cash at the end of the day, especially if they come from the poor areas like the farmers and stuff like that. They got a lot of traditional girls out there. There is a lot of scammers out there. And I'm not trying to narrow it down to one particular area like Isan, Northern Thailand, Southern Thailand. As Anne said, she says it's everywhere that you're going to actually be facing those sorts of things online. Because the end goal of a lot of Thai girls that don't want to date a Thai guy is to actually find someone that's able to financially support them and give them a stable life. And I guess that's got some similarities to the Western world as well, where a partner is seeking someone that's financially stable and to look after themselves. But there's also those girls that are seeking to be rescued. And I think another YouTuber, Esquire Unlimited, he'd said to me once, he was over in like the Philippines, for example, and he said that a lot of the girls there want to be rescued. And that even when he starts to get to know someone, there's that people still want to be rescued, I guess, in that particular area. It's hard to know, really. You've got to take your time getting to know people, I guess, at the end of the day. And other people that have had dating experiences that have spoken to me have had similar things where after getting to know someone online for a little while, they're asking for various amounts of money. And so when it comes to dating, though, and trying to find the first someone that actually you do want to get to know and settle down with, there is that one, read up about the scams that are out there. So if you're dating online, I would say go on places like Thailand Bound or Thai Talk with Dan. They talk about a lot of the scams in Thailand. It's not a huge thing that I do on here. I know about them and I know what's happening, and I'm seeing a lot of examples of it out there. Like I've seen one example would be there was one Thai bar girl that even Anne used to know, and she'd been like playing two guys off against each other, Western guys, and she had been getting money from both of them and by telling them both that she wanted to be with them and stuff like that. Meanwhile, still working as a bar girl and earning money in other ways, which I won't get into. And so they were just trying to figure out which was the more financially viable person for them at the end of the day, I guess. And so you've got to be careful that you're not being played. Whether you're a guy seeking love or a girl seeking love in this country, you've got to be very careful that you're not actually being played by the people online. And so that's one thing. Be cautious. As soon as someone starts asking for money, like even when I was dating online, getting to know people, as soon as I got asked for any amount of money, I was just block, block, block. And I think I blocked so many people on the online dating sites in Thailand before I came here that were either seeking like a salary straight away as such. They were asking for money for various stories. And oh my God, they had so many sub stories as well that I was copying during that actual time when I was, and there was a whole bunch of freelancers on there as well. And yeah, freelancers, for a better word, call girl, escort, whatever you like to call them, in Western sort of culture there. But there was a lot of them online as well, just trying to hook people in and get people interested to make money out of them. So it was hard to filter through the junk, that's what I'm saying, on those dating sites. So if you are going to go on those Thai dating sites, there is genuine people there seeking love, but just be careful. And like even Anne pointed out to me, she said to me that you can't really, she didn't feel that you could fall in love online. And that if you do get to know someone and you like them, then before you actually start actually dating them, hit the ground running here. Come here for a while, get to know them, spend some quality time with them, and see whether the fantasy or the idea of them sort of outweighs the reality as such. I mean, the other way around. You know, when we're dating online, we have this fantasy, we have this idea of who this person is at the other end, but you don't really know the person until you're in the country, spending quality time with them, meeting their friends, meeting their family. Then you get to know the real situation on the ground. And the chances are, if you date one of the girls from the poor farmlands, then they're seeking someone that's financially stable because they've potentially got siblings, parents who are quite poor, and seeking a benefactor, for a better word, that's going to support them, but maybe also support their parents in their old age. And then you get you occasionally will get the extended family trying to come to you constantly and borrowing money from you if you're dating from those poorer areas as well. Not all families. I'm just saying that, yeah, I've had some of that experience even when I first got here, like on the dating scene. It's kind of like every dog in their bone came out trying to borrow money from me and Anne, and we basically just put the brakes on straight away because I knew of that pattern of things. And I literally just said no to everyone. And suddenly everyone just stopped talking to Anne because she wasn't willing to give them money. And I was useless because I wouldn't give them money. And when they say, can I borrow money from you in this country, amongst her friends or amongst her family, they're not borrowing, they're taking. They won't return it, I can tell you that. And that's my experience, not only of personal things that have happened, but also just generally what I'm seeing out there amongst other people and their experiences as well, that they just take money from each other, and sometimes they pay it back, sometimes they don't, but in a lot of cases they will go into hiding as soon as they've borrowed money and just disappear and go offline and then never pay it back. And so you've got to be careful with that sort of thing too. Like when you are dating someone, get to know their family as well, because you've got to know that what you're walking into, basically. Yeah, you got to understand the family dynamics. And if you did settle down with this particular woman, what are you going to have to deal with? As if you're taking it back to your home country, it's different. You probably don't have to deal with the family politics as much. But if you're actually living in this country and you're dating, you will potentially have to deal with the family politics and all the dramas that come with that. And so you've got to have really strict, healthy boundaries in place. And so even with dating, that's what you want to sort of come here and deal with when you come into the country as well. And on those sort of things. Just on live stream. YouTube. It's just Anne walking in the background doing something. Yeah, on that particular thing. But yeah, so the dating sites. Again, if someone's paying for a dating site, especially at the other end, then they're probably more serious. Like if they got like the gold membership, whatever the membership is for paid members, then the chances are you're probably looking at someone that's quite serious, seeking a relationship. And you've also got the different thresholds. You got like the upper class that are dating. You've got the sort of lower class. You've got the middle class. The girls from those different areas are all very different in their nature as well. So you might get the big high-powered business women and stuff like that could be running their businesses and seeking a partner. They don't need you on a financial level, but they're focused more on their business as well, like anyone else that was running their business. So their availability for you and that may be even limited. You've got the professionals out there as well that you're dealing with. And if you're a highly educated person, maybe you want an educated partner. I don't know. It's really up to you. And but overall, depending on the class, it's just about connection, really, at the end of the day. You come here, you spend some quality time with someone, and you see whether you connect. It doesn't matter whether they're from the lower classes, the middle classes, or upper classes. If the two of you have got the same energy, you generally get along, you're complementing each other like in any other Western country, you're going to find that it's just, you're going to connect at some level. And you're either going to connect or you're not going to connect. I guess that's the terminology that I'm actually getting at here. And I'm just sort of looking at whether the microphone, no, I didn't mute anything there. Thought I did for a second there. But yeah, I'll just turn up the volume a little bit just in case on that one. And tell me if there's anything wrong with the volume as well on that. Yeah. And so, yeah, ask any questions regarding the sort of dating scene here, but do the paid membership thing if you're going to go on those sites. If you're in this country itself, though, like in Western country, those dating apps like Tinder tend to be like for fun, nothing really serious. Here you've got a mixed bag of people on that Tinder, apparently. You've got people that are seeking serious relationships and people just after fun. So you've got a real mixed bag on Tinder here, but apparently a lot of people use it in this country as well. And so, yes. So just moving on from that, and leave any questions below if you've got any questions on sort of dating. But yeah, just watch out for the red flags. Watch out about all the scams, as well as just generally. Yeah. Yeah. Just generally protect yourself and protect your own finances as well in that overall dating sort of scene.
Have someone chatting?
No, I'm just talking away.
Okay.
Just Ed talking to me in the background there on that one. But moving on from that, so here's just a summary of it in short. You've got your sort of dating sites like your Tinder, your Thai Friendly, your Thai Cupid, things like that. There's a lot of dating scams on those dating sites, and there's a lot of people that are just chasing dollars. And so you've got to be very careful when you're getting to know people online. I would generally say make friends with people online, make connections, learn about the Thai culture, maybe practice some Thai language if that's what you're doing. Some of those people are there just practicing English as well. And I don't want to make judgments on the level of English that some people speak in this country, because some people say, oh, it's only the bar girls that speak really good English. And it's probably not the case. Yeah, in the rural areas, the English level is a lot lower. And in the city areas, the English level is probably better. And amongst the highly educated, the English level is probably quite good as well. So just judging someone by their level of English doesn't necessarily mean they've worked in those entertainment industries. They could be just highly educated professionals, or they could have just went to a really good school, primary school. Like even in Chiang Mai here, I noticed that the English level is a lot higher, and I could just walk into a cafe and people are speaking English to me. And maybe their English is not perfect, but they're speaking levels of English. So just take that into account. Now, moving on to sort of other sort of areas. But yeah, at the end of the day, don't actually get serious while you're talking online, because people can pull at your heartstrings when you're online, and you don't know what's happening at the other end of that video either. You don't know what's happening in the background. You don't know all the drama going on in the background. You don't know whether they've got any other partners. You don't know whether they're just coming to you as a holiday girlfriend and then disappearing. You don't know any of that. But when you're living here and you're dating, you know that, because you're spending that quality time amongst them. You're interacting with their friends. You're potentially interacting with their family once you get a bit more serious. And so you're seeing the reality of what's on the ground. So if you're going to seriously date, I would wait till you're here. Either you're on holidays getting to know someone, or you've moved here and you're going to be here for an extended period of time, or permanent. That's the best time to start dating. But it's probably good to get settled here first. So you would come here, you would set yourself up, get yourself into some form of accommodation, get all your finances and all your insurance in order. If you're taking a particular job here, get all that sorted. So start your job. And once you're settled in for about 2-3 months, 6 months, and you got the lay of the land, then you may start reaching out and going, okay, then I'm ready to date. I've set myself up and I'm all good now. And so that's just another tip there. Maybe settle yourself into the country first and get to know a little bit about the country and the lay of the land wherever you're living, whether it's Phuket, Pattaya, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Koh Samui, Hue Hin, or even in Isan somewhere. All right, moving on to some of the other topics that people were sort of doing was moving and living to Thailand. Now, even on that, what I'd be checking out there first is actually, if you're gonna like move to Thailand and you're thinking of moving to Thailand, then maybe even start coming with some extended holidays first. You might come for a month, you might come for 3 months, 6 months, even a 12-month, and you might do a student visa first. You may get a feel for the place, because you want to know whether this is a place that you want to stay in and whether you could actually live here, especially once you've selected whether you're going to live in those areas like the Phukets, the Pattaya, the Hue Hin, the Bangkok, whatever lifestyle you're after. There's a lifestyle for everyone here. And so once you've done your research, literally go there and live there for a while. So you may have tested a lot of places out, but if you're kind of like set on a place, go there and live there for a while before you make a final decision on actually moving here. And whilst you're giving it a trial run, you're also learning about the cost of living. You're learning about how to pay your electricity, your mobile, what shops are in your area, like the Macro, like the Lotus, like the Rimping, like in Chiang Mai. You've got all different types of shopping centres, where to buy what street food places are good. You're getting a feel for the land, but you're also trying to compare it in a way. Is the quality of life that I'm having here in a way better to the quality of life overall that I was having in my home country? And I know you can't compare like Western life with Thai life as such, but you're looking about inside your heart and inside your soul. Is this feeling like home? Are you enjoying it? Are you getting a lot out of the experience of actually living here? And if you are, then you might choose to extend your actual visa here and stay here longer in the long run. And so that's just another thing to think about there too. and to give it a trial run first before you make that final move. Because I've seen some YouTubers online, or some people online that have actually packed up all their stuff, sold everything, moved here. Within a year, they've hated the place and then made a big mistake and having to try and re-establish themselves back in their home country. Or they haven't had proper insurance, and there's some other things. Or they haven't had proper insurance. Some accidents happen and they've had to go back to their home country. So do your research before you come here. Check out a few different insurance companies for whether it's travel insurance or whether it's private health insurance. If you're on a long-term visa here, you could probably get on the private health insurance. And but if you're not, then probably some sort of travel insurance would at least protect you in regards to accidents. And like my experience was in my first 12 months here, I took out really high-level travel insurance, and I was in Phuket in February of the second year I was here. No, in that first 12 months, I mean, but in 2022, and I was down in Phuket, and I had some gallstones at the time, and I'd eaten some really bad food on the beaches of Patong, and I must have got some food poisoning that slowly festered inside me for that period. And then eventually the gallstone turned into this huge big ball, and I ended up in massive pain, and I had to go to emergency surgery. I basically turned up at Thonburi Hospital there in Bangkok, Thonburi Private, and they said, "No, you need to go into surgery today or it could kill you." And so it was that bad. The infection had festered for about a month, and I just noticed discomfort. But then in the last week, I just got excruciating pain, really bad. So I went into hospital, and I think I was there nearly a week. The emergency surgery, they helped me to choose my room. There was different types of rooms, and each room had a different fee per night. And I chose this nice room that had a bit of an ensuite, had internet connection if I wanted it, had a room service menu even, had a bit of a lounge next to me, one of those seats where you could put your feet up. It was like a hotel room. I think it was about 12,000 baht a night or something like that. I forget now the exact fee that I was paying there, but 12 or 16, can't remember. But the overall cost of all the emergency surgery and the recovery and the support over it was about 8,000 Australian. So it was not a small dollar by any means. And so I had to come up with 8,000 Australian. And luckily, they were willing to, because I was here, I'd ended up being here on a longer term visa, and I wasn't looking at returning back at that time, I don't think. And because I'd sort of started to make a decision, am I going back? Am I staying here? And at that point, they were willing to accept that I pay 50% upfront, or because I had private health insurance and they could see I physically had it, but because it was a French company, they couldn't just take it straight from the French company. First, the travel insurance had to accept the claim. So they were willing to discharge me from the hospital on the basis that I would come back and pay the rest if the insurance claim didn't go through. Eventually, the insurance claim did go through, and they covered the whole expenses there. So it was between 6,000 or 8,000. I forget the exact amount, but it was a pretty dollar in that regard. So having some reserve cash is really good, because I had reserve cash on me then. And I think that's what saved me in that particular moment regarding the hospital and the emergency surgery. But I must admit, the hospital there was top notch. The quality, the way they looked after me, I couldn't fault them at all. So whatever people say about hospital care here in Thailand, if you're going into the private hospitals, you're really going to get looked after here. And the doctors were great with me. The nurses were checking on me every hour after surgery. It was just awesome care. I couldn't fault them. And so before you're coming here, looking at things, doing a bit of a plan, like a ticker box. I've got to get my travel insurance sorted, got to get my visa sorted. I've got to maybe have some savings behind me if I'm going to come here for an extended period, if I'm going to give it a trial run to start off with before I make that final decision to move here. And then I might talk to a few visa companies. So you might talk to, like in Chiang Mai here, there's a good one called Star Visa. Like I've used them a few times, really good visa company. And they're even handling the marriage stuff for me and Anne getting married. So they're really good. And in regards to that, and I'll probably do a video on that later and what we had to actually go through. And then there's also places, if you want American companies, then there's Settlement Abroad, which is located in Chiang Mai, or Integrity Legal, which I think are located down at Bangkok. So even just thinking of a visa company you can trust is actually good. and research and talk to them about consultation on different types of visas. You might even get a broker here to look at different types of travel insurance. Other things you might do before moving here or coming here is that you might look at things like, I guess some of the other things, I was sort of writing some notes on this earlier, that you might want to join different sorts of social groups or Facebook groups. Like I joined Australians in Chiang Mai. It was not Chiang Mai, in Thailand. It was kind of like Australians in Thailand. It was a whole Facebook page of just Australians that have moved here. And the reason I was signing up with that Facebook page is I just wanted to mitigate risk, really. And a lot of people talk about a variety of different topics on that a Facebook group as well. And so even before you come here, or even after you move here, for example, is that you might want to consider, okay, what sort of Facebook groups do I want to join? You know, like interest groups. The interest groups could be things like, I don't know, it could be digital nomads in Chiang Mai, for example. There's a Facebook group for that. Or it could be building a farm in Isan, for example. There's Facebook groups on that, building houses in Thailand, and there's all sorts of Facebooks on different groups and stuff like that. There's even a gaming one, because I like my board games. And even locally in Chiang Mai here, if you want to do board gaming, there's a local group here where you can just turn up, pay 100 baht and just play random board games with other expats and have a bit of fun and a bit of a social while you're actually there. And there's golf courses, of course, and all those other sorts of things. And there's people, entrepreneurs, and all sorts of groups that people just want to meet up, talk, discuss different topics, discuss how they live here, what they do online, their own businesses, things like that. There's groups galore. So join Facebook groups that are of your specific interest overall. And so the other sorts of things that you might want to look at is joining up with websites. So there's a website called, just reading it here, www.expatden.com/Thailand. And so that's an actual pretty good one, because that talks about all sorts of different types of topics there as well on that Expat Den. So I actually got on the mailing list just so I could hear all the stuff that was going on in Thailand. Keeping up to date with Thai news is good too. And there's a few good groups out there. There's one that's English, the Thallinger. I think it's THAIGER or something like that. But yeah, they're always up to date with the latest news going on in Thailand and translating it into English. But there's a lot of other YouTubers too that actually talk about the news online. So there's just some initial tips there. Also, you may want to look at, what is my budget? So what is my monthly budget for moving here? If I've got an online salary, then okay, I know how much money I've got. You want to research cost of living before you come. Watch some videos. Do some research on some online forums and all that sort of stuff, because you want to know what your minimum monthly expenditure is going to be versus your, I guess, fun money, party money, things that were travel money, things like that you might want to allocate. Because if you're coming here, you're not coming here for a different lifestyle from the country that you actually came from. And you want that extra money to have a bit of fun, to travel, to explore, to do things that you couldn't do in your home country. And so it's good to have a budget of how do I want to live. So you might live a cheap condo just because the condo is not that important. You just want somewhere comfortable and secure. Or if you've got a crap load of money to splash around, then you might want to rent a whole house or some luxury condo somewhere with security, pool and gym and all those sorts of things that get thrown in. And so it's really up to you the type of place you want to rent depending on your budget. And then it's how you want to eat. So you can eat anything from cheap street food every day to big fancy Michelin star restaurants as well. So again, cost of living is quite varied in that regard. So overall, I guess that's just a little bit of a blurb for today. And I suppose next week I'll probably potentially be talking about other topics and maybe go into a little bit more detail about things if you guys have got any particular questions there. But because no one's logged in at this moment, I think I'll log off, and because I've been in here for 30 minutes. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions. Fairly easy going. I don't mind just talking about life here, just generally how to survive here, how to get around. Of course, learning the Thai language is going to help, and I admit I've probably been a bit lazy on that because I've been focused on some other things, and Anne does a lot for me behind the scenes and helps me out. And most of the time we're traveling together anyway, so maybe there's a little bit of laziness on my part, but it's on my to-do list, and I've probably got to find a good Thai tutor. So if you know any good suggestions out there, whether it's Chiang Mai or online tutors or groups, then feel free to leave them in the comments, because yeah, I wouldn't mind researching that moving forward about starting to learn the Thai language. And also, if you have asked a Westerner that's learnt the Thai language, leave some comments below going what actually helped you embrace learning the language as well to actually stay here. Because if you're going to live in places like rural Thailand, learning the language is probably going to help you a lot. Where Chiang Mai, you could probably get away with not speaking Thai because a lot of people speak English, but you're not going to get that everywhere. And if you're just going to stick to the places that speak English, then you're not going to really embrace life here. And that's why maybe picking up some of the language is going to help you as you get around. Of course, we have so many of that technological devices we can carry around with us, like that do auto translation just by holding them up and people speak into them, and then it comes back and you can pass it backwards and forwards. There's Google Translate. There's a lot of ways to survive with technology, of course, but if you can speak some of the language, it could be just more fun. And I guess that's why it's on my to-do list even moving forward. But yeah, even for you guys, like it's good to, even if you are looking at buying something here, rent first, rent in the different areas, because you want to know whether you actually like the area where you're living before you actually buy or build. But I'll talk about that maybe on another occasion. But anyway, leave your comments below or questions below, or if there's anything that you want me to cover, and I'll get into it. And yeah, but anyway, have a beautiful day, and look after yourselves. And yes, if you're dreaming of moving to Thailand, don't just dream, just make it happen and get here. And if you like these sort of travel videos I put up, or even some of these live streams I've started doing, I'll probably get into different topics as I move forward, or maybe I'll just have a random yarn with everyone as we start to develop a bit more of a community moving forward. But okay, and it will always be, when I put 1 p.m. online, it will be a set time. I'll always be talking in Chiang Mai time. So when you see on my channel, I say like 1 p.m., it's going to be 1 p.m. Chiang Mai. So wherever you are in the world, if you're looking at logging into a live stream, or you think there's better times to log in outside of that 1 p.m. on a Sunday in Chiang Mai time, then let me know, and maybe I'll investigate other options for logging in at different times as well. Anyway, have a beautiful day, and hit like and subscribe if you like these sort of videos. And thank you for listening.